Hello and welcome. My name's Campbell. This is Autodidactic. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And the world is weird and getting weirder.
Absolutely none of the NASA worshippers are ready for this one. So in 1962, three men escaped from Alcatraz without a trace, completely vanished from one of the highest security and hardest to escape prisons in America. They just gone. And then 7 years later, these three men land on the moon, stepping onto the world stage. Now, is it just me or do these faces look eerily similar? Maybe you guys don't see it yet, but let me show you. Here are the three escapees from Alcatraz prison that got away with life vests, apparently. And here's the three men that landed on the moon: Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins, and Neil Armstrong. They couldn't possibly all be a match, right? They couldn't all be the same people. Let's start with Neil, though. Let's see the overlay on Neil here. Whoa. Damn. That is shockingly the exact same facial features. What a striking coincidence. Have a look at Michael Collins now. Damn. I mean, maybe the nose. No, it's looking. Whoa. Yeah. Very interesting stuff, guys. Again, entertainment purposes only here. This is strictly for entertainment. Let's have a look at Buzz Aldrin here. The guy that says that we never went to the moon, by the way. He won't admit it. He says that we never went. Let's overlay the face. Damn. You know when children ask him why we haven't been to the moon, and he's like, because we didn't go. We haven't gone to the moon. And here these men are, heroes, still standing vindicated, but the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. NASA believers. Bah, bah.
Well, what do you think of that one? I've never seen or heard of that one before. Pretty interesting, though. Let me know in the comments. Do you think they're the same people? Do they look the same? They were pretty good. Obviously, the photos were different angles and stuff, but I don't know. What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments.
Took it underground. So currently, as we speak, there are beings or people surveilling the general public through tech, and they are attacking the general public with technology, with radar technology, electromagnetic frequency weapons, and also black magic. So these groups, these sects, are actually trained up in the dark arts, as well as they have this technology. So this technology has been around for hundreds of years. They don't necessarily need to have like Wi-Fi routers right next to you to actually attack you. They can access you through anything that has a SIM card in, anything that has a chip in, nanotechnology. They can also access you through the telegraph poles. There seems to be something within these poles that is still up that is allowing them to use these poles as relays to attack us. Obviously, people talked about the 5G towers going up, and that was one of the ways that they can attack us as well. And that is extending their reach and their network. But that's not the only way. They don't need to be near a 5G tower. You can actually be in the middle of nowhere and they can still attack you if you've got electronics on you. So these beings, these people, they work for the night, and they have this technology underground that can allow them to do an MRI scan of your home. So they can see through your home, they can see exactly where everyone is, they can read your energy signature, and they have an understanding on who is who, like who was born when. They know everyone's astrology chart. They're basically keeping an eye on the light, those who are here to actually make a real positive impact and difference in the world, and they're targeting them. And they're also targeting people who are just unaware, asleep, to try and cause chaos and mayhem in different towns and make people turn to the night.
Well, I mean, yeah, we know about MK Ultra. That's been going on for a very long time. And we know that there's frequency weapons being used. So, how far does this go? And I've thought this before, I'm sure you have too, with all this surveillance, what are they looking for? Are they just collecting data because they're not us, they're the invaders, right? Are they trying to understand us better so they can control us more? Or are they looking for certain people? Like she said, are they looking for people with the light inside them who have come to change things up? What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments, and also let me know, have you been targeted with any of these weapons.
We will keep you updated. Stay ahead. Stay informed with worldwide news.
President Bong Bong. He sounds like a fun guy. And yes, I think, some of that was AI, some of that flooding scene was sped up film, but this is the true story. This is what's happened. The government put all this money aside to build drainage, right? So that the Philippines wouldn't flood. And they just stole all the money. And of course, the Philippines flooded. And this is what most of these protests, or I would say all of these protests that are going on around the world, they're all anti-government, anti-corruption, anti-overreach, basically anti-government, just in general, right? Everyone's fed up. But everywhere we look in the news, but so many people are reporting these protests as anti-immigration or pro-Palestine. Obviously, the Nepal, they were talking about Gen Z and the internet, social media laws. So they're putting all these different sort of narratives out there, but it's all anti-government. That's what people want. They want the government's gone.
Look up, guys, these are signal panels, part of the urban relay system. Quiet, constant, beaming high frequency waves across rooftops, streets, and bodies. The antenna, that's a Yagi, high directional, used for long range data transmission. This isn't just monitoring electricity, it's built to collect and beam out frequencies, not just Wi-Fi, your biofield, your nervous system, your heartbeat, your resonance signature. Delta suppressor on it. This is for absorbing dirty energy like lightning strike, literally storing it and shooting it back into the grid, redirecting it.
Yeah, man, watch out for that 5G now turning into 6G. And of course, 6G is the next step, right? They want to use us as the antennas, but definitely watch out for all these frequencies. Get some Orgonite. There's other bits and pieces you can get, but Orgonite will definitely help the situation.
This flag has been popping up all over the place. It's from this anime, One Piece, where the flag is carried by a band of pirates that stand up to corrupt and repressive rulers.
Dreams greater than they'd ever dared to imagine.
Why is this flag resonating in so many places?
This franchise is huge, so it's a symbol that is very easily recognizable and understood by people, especially young people.
Last weekend, it was flown in protests in the Philippines over allegations that money meant for flood relief projects was siphoned off by officials and contractors.
I think it was first widely used in Indonesia, where deadly mass protests erupted in August, initially triggered by anger over the very generous perks being given to lawmakers, but they were also fueled by much wider dissatisfaction and anger over the economic situation they were facing.
Officials in Indonesia didn't like that. One lawmaker said the flag was an attempt to divide national unity. Another said displaying it could amount to treason. And have authorities been targeting people for using it?
There were instances or reports of flags being confiscated by the military or by the police, of murals being taken down, people who displayed the flags being questioned, or also allegations of violence against people who were showing flag. And this actually prompted Amnesty to come out and tell the government to stop this crackdown and to respect people's freedom of expression.
And it's not the first time pop culture iconography has been utilised in moments of protest. Experts say a defensive response risks fueling their power.
Yeah, man, One Piece. I've seen that. It's a pretty good show, actually. Interesting. All these protests, as you saw in that, they're burning down Parliament buildings, right? Nepal, India, and Indonesia. I know it's happened. And, one thing I've noticed about all these protests is, we're hearing different narratives, right? Like we're hearing it's either Gen Z about internet censorship. There's a big call that a lot of them are pro-Palestine and anti-Israel. Um, but, I've seen a lot of the interviews of people on the ground who are actually in there and they're interviewing people, and everyone says it's about government corruption and government overreach. So they're definitely spinning a narrative. And no, right? Is it protest season again already? That came around fast. Um, but as you saw in that clip, it's all about all these protests are about government corruption and overreach, and they're trying to spin all these different narratives to it, right? Basically, so everyone doesn't catch on. But I think it's failing. And of course, with all these protests, I'm not sure how effective they are. They are definitely effective in the government, giving them a reason, right, to clamp down more on the population. So that's one thing to think about. This is how they do coup d'etats, right? Get the people to uprise, then they overthrow the government. Those that wish to rule us put their new puppet prime minister or president in, and they just keep rolling with the same old game. So, there's a lot happening. People are getting frustrated. People are standing up finally, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but we just got to be careful we don't fall into their traps again.
This is in Arizona?
This is in Arizona.
And this really rich guy, he's a, what is it?
He's a Rothschild.
A Rothschild. He bought this town of Felicity and named it after his wife, Felicity.
Wait, is this real?
Who we think we ran into.
Can we make sure that this is real?
We visited it.
Go for tours of this place.
Oh, we did a tour. We did a horrifying.
Why?
They tried to get us in the center of the pyramid, in the center of the thing, put our foot in the middle, save this thing and make a wish and then sign a contract. And I was like, and we were like, I'm not doing that. And she was like, well, it's the only part of the tour you have to do.
And they go,
to do the tour. And that's when we said, we don't want to do the tour anymore. We're going to leave. And she was pissed.
and then they said, she goes, this right here is the center of the world.
The center of the world, hey? Wow, have you heard about it? Would you sign the contract? I have seen this place before, but I don't know a lot about it. But yeah, what are your thoughts? What are they doing out there?
Felicity, California is a very strange place. It's located in the corner of California by the Mexican border and the border of Arizona. This weird little place has a population of exactly 2. It's inhabited solely by this guy who made himself mayor, as well as his wife Felicia, who the town was named after. The mayor has named this spot the official center of the world. A lot of conspiracy theorists find Felicity rife with Masonic symbolism, and it all starts with this very strange book written by the mayor in the 80s. A few other things of note in Felicity are this staircase that came from the Eiffel Tower, this creepy chapel, and this sundial made from a sculpture of an arm. This arm is actually the arm of God from the Creation of Adam painting by Michelangelo. If you're interested in learning more about the weird town at the center of the world, I do have an episode available on YouTube as well as wherever you get your podcasts. Let me know what you think of Felicity in the comments below.
Felicity. Felicity in Arizona, the center of the world. Yeah. And the first video said that it was a Rothschild that built it. I'm not sure. I haven't done any research into that, so let me know if you know more about that.
So they actually removed copper doors and copper door handles in the 1900s. And this is because the copper was antibacterial and antiviral, and they would stop diseases from spreading and bacteria from spreading. That's why all the hospitals in the 18 and 1900s used to have copper door handles and brass door handles. Because if anybody came in with an infection and they then had to use cutlery or door handles, they weren't going to be passing on that infection to other people. Just like the linen sheets again, which would prevent the bacteria from spreading, because we know linen is the only fabric that is antibacterial. They'd also use silver door handles because these are also antibacterial and antiviral. And they were also drinking out of copper and silver cups because, again, those copper cups were structuring the water in the cups. And they were also preventing that bacteria from being spread from person to person. But now in hospitals, we see plastic cups and stainless steel door handles because the Rockefellers noticed that contagious diseases and illnesses were almost non-existent. And they noticed their profits weren't increasing, similar to these copper water fountains we used to see everywhere, where the water would stay clean and pure for days because of the copper. And then, would you guess, they removed them as well because they didn't want people having that benefit of copper.
Well, I've got my copper on. Well, I've got my copper on. I've got a copper cup too. And I've got a copper cup too. Do you have copper? Do you drink out of copper? And, interesting, right? But it's the same old story. The old world was built to benefit us, right? To help humanity and to, fix all these issues that we seem to have today, right? They were non-existent back then. So all that's been happening is they've deconstructed the old world, which was made in harmony with us, right? And to keep us healthy and at our peak performance and all that kind of stuff, just so they can make us sick and make profits from us.
Video proof of 7 News bending the truth to fit their narrative.
The 1,000-strong gathering intimidating to some, these international students copying a lecture.
It's just devastating seeing a lot of people like that doesn't want us to be here.
Well, we haven't done anything wrong. We are helping Australia by paying fees and everything. So I don't get it why they don't see it that way. So it's just, sad.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Some people feel that way because most people do not support these people.
Yeah, most. Get it.
But all of these students, you can't put my face out there because they'll come back and they've already had an altercation with them this morning.
Let's write down your name, your full name, so you
but all of these students live on this street. They had to put up.
Do you hear what they're saying though, mate? Albo's got to go. They're not talking anything about discrimination or immigration. Don't listen to the media, bro. They are literally painting a picture to create division. We're not about division. Trust me. I just watched the whole world protest. We are all witnessing the world stand up to government. This is all about government. It's not about the media. They're all trying to make us look like we're anti-immigration. We are not anti-immigration.
Anti-immigration
We are.
rally.
No, it's not. Do you want to see what it's actually about? I'll show you.
Well, we've been seeing this for decades, right? The media creating stories to create division or to create fear. And, they're still going on. And that's what I was saying about before. We have to be careful, with all the stuff that's going on in the protests. If you want to get involved, just, understand there's a lot of shenanigans going on behind the scenes. And Antifa as well. Like I saw the France protests and all the people were peaceful and fine and protesting government, basically spending and corruption. And then the Antifas came in, all dressed in black, faces hidden, and they just started destroying the city and attacking the police. So, this is what they do, right? So that they can bring in more draconian laws.
You seen what's going on in Peru? Find a seat. New digs. There are new ancient Nazca lines. And that weird three-fingered mummy, confirmed authentic, but not entirely human. So Peru is leading the charge in rewriting history, and the entire country is pretty much an archaeological site. If you Google terrace farming, you'll see the ancient Peruvians terraformed the entire mountain landscape of the country into usable farmland. And peppered throughout all of that are very weird carvings, very geometric shapes carved into very hard rocks. We don't know what they're used for. Somehow they were able to move, shape, and cut these rocks, and we don't know how they did it. According to the Incas' good Spanish friends, the only animals they had were llamas, they did not have timber, and they did not use the wheel for transportation. The only metal tools that they found would easily bend on andesite and diorite. They told of an extensive tunnel system at Sacsayhuaman. They call this place a fortress, despite it looking like a massive machine. And the tunnels they found are so cleverly hidden, you probably wouldn't even notice that they were not a natural formation unless you went into them. Which is what this is. This is a LiDAR scan of those tunnels. And what you can clearly see here is a stairway. This may be the entrance to the Chincanas, a 1 mile long tunnel connecting Sacsayhuaman to the Coricancha, a place their Spanish pals built a cathedral over. It protects some of the most advanced stonework on the planet. To the south, some ancient lines are drawn in the desert. These are called the Nazca lines. These can only be accurately interpreted from the air, and they're usually in the shapes of animals. But these new ones seem to be a geometric code of some sort, completely different from the ones we already know about. Nazca people believe these lines connected them to divine beings that we have labeled as their gods. The remains of these beings are very strange. They have elongated heads. Initially, we thought this was from head binding. But think of the skull like a plastic cup. If you fill it up with water, you can bend it and it'll hold the same amount of water. These hold 30% more water. This was determined to be a different species from a fetus that they found that already had the elongated head. It couldn't have been modified before. When these beings are depicted in Peruvian art, they always have 3 fingers, which is quite the coincidence because Maria happens to be one of these mummies and she has 3 fingers. One guy said these were fake, and after 9 years of study, that claim has been dismissed and overturned, and they are biologically authentic. Over at the digs, luminescence dating is being performed. The goal is to see if these were built before the Younger Dryas cataclysmic event. Overwhelming evidence is suggesting a comet or asteroid hit us, ending the Ice Age. The survivors of this event would be these people. This would confirm the accounts from the ancient Egyptians and ancient Americans. Both cultures explicitly state this if you listen to the natives of those countries. The scientific analysis leaves out context, and the mythological perspective leaves out detail. This page intends to bridge that gap with a respect to both. All my personal research and analysis is right there, and I promise you there is so much more.
Wow, the cone heads, Homo capensis. Did they have 3 fingers, 3 digits? Who knows? And haven't looked into this, but he's saying that that mummy is real, and that's been floating around for a few years now. That mummy, and all the stonework, all this stuff, and we're told it was built by basically Stone Age people, right? Without the wheel, without any moving animals, beasts of burden, as they call them. So how did they do all this? How did they build all these temples and monuments, or what, these constructions, right? Which, as he said, are probably just machines, right? We have, Pumapunku and Teotihuacan and and all these places with and all these places with megalithic stonework up on mountains. How do you think it was done? Is the story correct, or did they have some other kind of technology? Well, let me know in the comments. You are the spoon. Yeah, totally concur with everything he just said. And this is a major issue most people have with creating the life that they want, right? Is they try and change the outside world, but it doesn't work, right? If you need to change the outside world, then you need to go and change everyone alive, right? But if you need to change yourself, you just got to find a mirror, right, and have a bit of a chat to yourself. And, like he said, if you want, wealth or health or whatever it might be, you have to be that first, because the world is a mirror, right? Whatever you put out, it will reflect back at you. So this old notion of, I'll be happy when I have the money, or I'll be healthy when, I don't know, when I'm rich, whatever the excuse is, doesn't work, never has. You have to be the change that you want to see in your life. And so, yeah, everything he said is true. It's all a mirror, and it's all a torus, right? You need to change the inside first, project that out into the outside world. Then you get feedback, right? And then you can ponder on that, and then you put something else out. So when you're putting out what you don't want all the time, that's what's getting fed back to you through the torus, right? But the same with, if you're putting out good intention and what you do want, that will be reflected back at you as well. So you are Neo, you are the power. So there you go, guys. Thanks for spending some time with me. Hope you enjoyed that little collection of videos. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Are you happy? Show me your smile.
That's a cute smile. Paul, let's see a smile.
Smile, Bill. Smile.
Mercedes, show everyone how you smile.
Are you smiling? Itzy. Itzy, smiling girl.
All right, we get a smile. Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese.
Big smile, Holly.
Oh, good girl.
Thank you. Thank you for the smile.
Good morning. Good morning, sweet girl.
Good morning, Maggie. Oh my goodness.
3, 2, 1. Jeez.